So in this video, I'm going to be covering the #1 mistake that I hear in mixes that I'm given to master. So let's dive in on how to properly use de-essing on your vocals inside of your mix. Welcome to Dinosaur Dog Studio, where I am helping independent artists mix and master their music professionally. If you don't know me, my name is Tyson. I'm an engineer at Night Owl Music Group, where we help independent artists build careers in music. Today, I want to teach you all about de-essing, how to de-ess properly inside of your mix to ultimately end up with nice, clean, clear, and professional sounding vocals. As I mentioned earlier, this is the #1 issue that I hear when given mixes to master, and oftentimes I'm struggling inside of the master to be able to control that sibilance, but also make the mix as bright as it needs to be in the mastering stage. So this will help you get your vocals under control though before the mastering stage. Your mastering engineer doesn't have to deal with this, or if you're mastering it yourself, you can ultimately end up with a far more professional sounding song because your vocals are properly contained on the top end of the frequency spectrum. So let's dive in on exactly how to de-ess your vocals properly and end up with a far more professional mix. Okay, so here we are in the DAW. We're gonna dive into this lead vocal and determining where we need to actually start de-essing and how to do all the things with de-essing. But the first thing I wanna point out is that I have my analyzer here pulled up, and this analyzer is extremely helpful in actually creating a more professional sounding de-essing process, because we can actually identify the very specific frequencies that are occurring inside of the lead vocal that are causing those really harsh sibilant sounds to come out of the vocal. So let's dive in on fixing this vocal. So again, pay attention to the analyzer over here. It's going to tell us exactly where these S's are occurring. I have a backup plan too that I'll also show you exactly how to determine where those S's are occurring, but I wanted you to hear the raw vocal first. So let's go.
It's not too much to pretend I'm fine, no. I thought you weren't done with me, so never mind. I don't care if you say I do.
So you can tell on those sibilances, right, it's really coming up right above this 8K range, so probably around 8 to 10 kilohertz is really where that sibilance is coming out. If you don't have an analyzer like this, or you just want to find another faster method, you can also use just an EQ to do this. And so what I like to do is just have a nice narrow band, and I'm gonna sweep this around in this top end to find out where those sibilances are really, really harsh. And to help us out, let's zoom in a little bit and find one of those S's.
It's not too much to pretend I'm fine, no. I thought you weren't done with me, so never mind. I don't care if you say I do, no. I was already moving on, so never mind. I don't care, so never. I was already moving on, so never.
Yeah, there's 2 S's in a row, so I'm gonna do that. Loop this one little section, and then again, I'm gonna be sweeping around to find those S's.
I was already moving on, so never. 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 Was already.
So you can hear it coming out here in this 10K range, but it's much stronger in this like 8.2K range. So again, my analyzer was correct in determining exactly where that sibilance is occurring. So let's remove that. If you're unable to get that professional sheen or quality or vibe for your songs, then I want to let you in on a little secret. Most mixers are trying to compensate their lack of professional mixes by getting more plugins, by using more advanced tips or tricks or techniques in their mixes, or relying on buying more professional gear in order to compensate for their lack of quality mixes. But in reality, most mixers' core problem is actually mixing subjectively, or approaching mixing from just a creative mindset entirely. Obviously, mixing is still somewhat of a creative skill. It's actually far more objective than most people realize. Because if we think about it, everyone agrees on what a professional mix actually is. If that weren't the case, then it would be an entirely subjective field. But in reality, mixing is actually incredibly objective because everyone agrees on what a pro song sounds like. And so mixing objectively can actually help you avoid being your own worst enemy inside of your mixes, and ultimately allow you to just check all of the boxes that a professional mix should check, and then your mix will sound objectively professional. And so if you're mixing your own music and you're motivated to actually learn the objective skill of mixing, and if you want to ensure that your music sounds pro, then I would love to help you out by teaching you the 5 objective standards that everybody is judging your mix by, and how you can use objective mixing to solve those 5 problems inside of your mix, and then also how to do all of that in under 3 hours per song without pro gear, premium plugins, or utilizing templates or presets. So if this is something that piques your interest, then go to theobjectivemix.com to order my brand new book, The Objective Mix. This will teach you how to mix objectively professional mixes every single time you sit down to mix. This provides you with my entire mixing workflow, along with all of the breakthrough lessons that I've learned in the last 16 years of mixing music. So if that is interesting to you at all, then again, go to theobjectivemix.com or click the link right below this video. Can't wait to see you on the inside. With that, let's get back to the video. And then let's dive into our de-esser. So I'm just gonna use the stock Logic de-esser. Works just fantastic, just like most other de-essers do. So just find one that works for you. If you have a stock one, it'll likely work just fine for your application. So let's dive into exactly how to set this up. So our frequency, right, we've already determined what the frequency should be. So I'm gonna dial in that 8.8200. That's exactly where I was hearing it. And then what we want to do here, it's very similar to a compressor where we want to actually dial in this threshold so we're getting a certain amount of gain reduction. And I'm going to use a wide range. I just find that the wide range works better. So basically it just widens our Q value as if we were using a EQ. So just to demonstrate that here really quick, if I pull out this, it's as if I'm adding an EQ here right at the 8.2K range. 8200, there we go. And then I'm widening or narrowing this Q value. So this wide, I basically have it set like kind of more like this. The narrow is more like this, right? And so I'd like to capture all the frequencies around it because they do often cause some issues as well that I like to be able to control with my de-esser. So it just sounds more natural to me usually. So now let's dive in on the actual threshold. So max reduction is going to prevent it from compressing too much. So I generally don't use this because I like it to be able to compress more if the sibilance is too strong. But generally I have my vocal already compressed, already EQ'd, and it's fairly well processed. And so I generally don't have to rely on this max reduction to limit the amount of de-essing happening. So you can kind of ignore that for now. Again, frequency is whatever we've determined. And then now we're just going to adjust this threshold. I like to basically use this threshold to be as aggressive as humanly possible, and then I back it off until it sounds more natural to me. I don't like to go from nothing to more de-essing because that ends up with less professional de-essing, and you'll often not go far enough with your de-essing because oftentimes in the mix bus stage and also the mastering stage, we're going to be boosting the top end. And so by having a vocal that's just barely de-essed enough, it's going to then cause issues later in the process. And so obviously knowing that that is still to come, I'm going to be as aggressive as I can while also making the vocal sound natural. So basically I'm going to go until it sounds like the singer has a really bad lisp, and then I'm going to back it off until it sounds more natural. So let's go ahead and start dialing this in.
Already moving on, so 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 already moving on, so
yeah, so that sounds pretty good to me, and that's very typical. I generally get about 6 to 7 decibels of gain reduction using my de-esser, and that's usually where I find the sweet spot lies, at least with my mixing process and how I like my vocals to sound. So let's listen to the whole thing and see if there's any additional adjustments that we need to make with the de-essing here.
It's not too much to pretend I'm fine, no. I thought you were done with me, so never mind. I don't care if you say I do, no. I was already moving on, so never mind. I don't care, so never mind, never mind.
All right, that sounds great to me. Another way to use this de-esser, just if you are interested, you can set your max reduction to, let's just set it at 7, and then you can move your threshold down.
It's not so much to pretend I'm fine, no. I thought you were done with me, so never mind.
So basically you can be a little bit more aggressive with your threshold, but your max reduction is then keeping it in line with whatever that, sweet spot that you found was at. So that's how you use the max reduction. Again, I normally don't use it. I just rely on this threshold to be able to give me whatever I want. So again, just a quick review. The process to de-ess your vocals is first find out the area of the frequency spectrum that is bringing out those sibilances the most. And then secondly, we want to de-ess as much as humanly possible in that one area. And then we want to back it off until it sounds natural. That's going to result in the most de-essing possible without being unnatural and also not causing issues later in the mix when I'm messing with my mix bus EQ or the mastering stage. With that said, thanks for watching this video and I will catch you in the next one.